afternoon. Welcome to the 12th PAT conference in Berlin. I wish Andreas will be well soon and will join us later this week. First, I would like to thank Andreas, Mark, Sabina, Patricia, and the entire team for hard working in organizing PAT 2013. We expect a wonderful and stimulating meeting. Polymers for Advanced Technologies, or PAT, is currently in its 24th year of publishing. The journal was founded by Professor Menachem Lewin in 1990 after he set up the first international conference on polymers for advanced technologies in 1987 in Jerusalem. Starting at 6 issues per year, now it has grown to 12 issues and published an incredible 1,628 pages in 2012. It is the interest of PAT journal to impact the polymer-related advanced technologies to meet the challenges of the 21st century. PAT aims at encouraging innovation, imagination, and creativity by providing a broad interdisciplinary platform for presentations of new research and development concepts, theories, and results which reflect the changing image and pace of modern polymer science and technology. PAT publishes original research papers, communications, review articles, letters to the editor, and book reviews. You are invited and encouraged to publish in PAT. Now I would like to move into the award, the Menachem Levin Award ceremony. When preparing for this meeting, we contacted Wiley suggesting to establish the Menachem Levin Prize for Lifetime Achievement in Polymer Science to commemorate Professor Menachem Levin, the founder of PAT Conference Series and PAT Journal, that passed away in 2011. Samantha Moore, PAT manager at Wiley, replied immediately that Wiley will donate to establish the prize, and this prize will be from now on every 2 years at the PAT meetings. Professor Menachem Levin was born in Poland in 1918. He studied chemistry and then immigrated to Israel and was one of the founders of the science in Israel. He established the National Fiber Institute in 1953 and was its director until his retirement in the 80s. In 1969, he established the Polymer and Textile Graduate Program at the Hebrew University, where I started my master's studies under his supervision. Later, he joined the Polytechnic Institute in Brooklyn, New York, as professor, and was active in research and as editor-in-chief of PAT until his death 2 years ago at the age of 93. His research focused on fire retardancy, physical chemistry of fibers and polymers, and nanotechnology. His daughters and son could not make it for the ceremony. They sent me a letter in which I will quote only one sentence. Our father was a real fighter. He took life challenges as missions to get through in a successful and respectful manner. He never gave up. With regard to the award, to select the award recipient, we established an international award committee which decided to establish 2 prizes, one for a senior scientist and one for a young, promising polymer scientist. The senior prize should be given to an outstanding polymer chemist that has been involved with PAT conferences and PAT journal. The young scientist will be selected later in this conference from the speakers, from the young speakers. The committee concluded that the first recipient of the Menachem Levin Prize for Lifetime Achievement in Polymer Science and Technology will be will be Professor Stanislav Penchek from Lodz Polytechnic for his prominent contribution to understanding of the kinetics and mechanism of ring opening polymerization for synthesis of high branch star-like polymers and more. I'm calling Professor Stan Zamkowski to tell us more about Professor Penchek's achievements.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great privilege, great honor to introduce, to say a few words about the person who got this award, about Professor Stanislav Penchek. And it's interesting, it's just accident, but a very interesting one that the award is coming on the name of Professor Lewin, who was born in Poland. It is coming to Poland as well, Professor Penchek, who is born and is working in Poland. It is a very difficult task, of course, to say in 5 minutes everything of what I wish, what I would like to say about Professor Penchek, because, you know, it is not easy to say about someone with whom you are working for 45 years. Nevertheless, I will try. Professor Penchek got his PhD some years ago, as far as I remember, 64 from the Industrial Institute of Industrial Chemistry in Poland and from the Polymer Institute at that time Leningrad. Today it is Petersburg or St. Petersburg, I never remember this official name at the moment. Then he got habilitation at the Technical University in Łódź, as far as I remember, 70. I have some slides, but I didn't see it. And after 2 to 3 years later, he got the professor title. In Poland, it is not only linked to the position, but it's also a title for life, and this is what I did mention, what I would like to mention. In 1968, he did move to Łódź, to the Center of Molecular and Macromolecular Studies of the Polish Academy of Sciences, where he's staying all the time. So it means that his scientific biography will be very short. But in the meantime, he did travel to many places. He spent in many places altogether several months, not only doing the research like in Syracuse with Michael Schwartz, but also like in such places like Pierre-Marie Curie University in Paris, where he was teaching for more than 10 years. Then he was teaching also in the eldest university in Poland for 10 years or so, for the eldest university in the country, and teaching at the Royal Technical University in Stockholm and in many other places, some monograph courses and so on. But I would like to concentrate on some real scientific achievements. Professor Penchek, it is difficult to tell me that because I am from the group, but he is, in my opinion, the someone who contributed mostly in the world to the development of the ring opening polymerization of heterocyclic monomers, where with his special approach to study in depth the problems, to make it comprehensive, and to put challenging topics, and to find which topics are important, to gather people who are able to work with him, came to a number of important discoveries. I don't know exactly which one the first I should mention, but for sure it is for the first time the discovery that the ion pairs in free ions behave a little bit differently in ring opening polymerization, because in anionic polymerization there was a great difference in reactivity between free ions and ion pairs, and in ring opening cationic polymerization the reactivity of free ions and ion pairs was almost similar, and he did explain also the reasons. It came also the time when he concentrated his study with his colleagues on the, let's say, equilibria between ionic and dormant species. And what is interesting, this gave the whole kinetic and mathematical foundation for later on the controlled radical polymerization with dormant species as well. And this was based, and some references were given also on time during lectures on these discoveries. There were many others, like transfer to polymers, effective species, transfer reactions, changing the whole system, and full, again, description of this process and so on. So I could quote also many others, including applications in industry mostly from the earlier time, but nowadays also his incorporation to a large project for introducing in Poland the foundation for production of polylactide. But he got also his work brought him recognition in the world. He is honorary, Dr. Honoris Causa at University, Dr. Honoris Causa of the Russian Academy of Sciences, honorary professor of the French Academy of Sciences, honorary professor at Lewin University. I think it may be enough to mention that he is author and co-author of a few hundreds of papers, monographs, books, and so on. The recent one, it was he was editor with co-edition of Professor Works of the ring coupling polarization, this comprehensive polymer reference, which has been published quite recently. And what to say? Just few words about Professor Menachem, not as a scientist, but let's say as a man, as a person. I don't know what is important besides science in his life, whether it is music or tennis, or maybe both. In every of these areas, you have to have a certain feeling of the rhythm and of the music. There might be certain music in tennis. I don't know, but I would not like to say that it should be also tennis in the music. Then he's also a connoisseur of wine. And I would like also, he likes also tourism, and he's mostly doing that in High Tatras, in Tatras Mountain in Poland. I got a beautiful picture here also from Simantine in China, unfortunately maybe on another occasion. And for us, for his former students, for his still co-workers, it is important that he could always pick up the right time, at the right time, the right subject to study. Then he knew whom to make interested in the subject and how to come to real details, to comprehensive understanding, what unfortunately is becoming less often nowadays. So I'm very happy, Professor Patrick. Thank you very much.
The certificate and the check didn't arrive on time, but we still made the ceremony without the certificate.
Before I talk,
Yes, and the check will arrive on Tuesday.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, I wanted to start in a different way, namely saying, dear and distinguished members of the Menachem Lewin family. But since are not here and you are expecting them to come, I would just say, dear and distinguished members of the Menachem Lewin family. Unfortunately, you are not with us. Now, Professor Dom, Professor Swankowski, thank you for the introduction. And of course I have to thank first of all the members of the jury, actually unknown to myself, for that great honor that is the Menachem Lewin Award. And I wish to extend my thanks to the sponsors that have already been mentioned by Avi in his presentation. Now, I wish to say a few words of Menachem and of the way that I used to know him. Actually, I think that we have met many years ago at the Brooklyn Poly, that we used to have the same friends. Unfortunately, many of them are no more with us, like the Charlie Overberger, Mary Goodman, Herb Moravec, and my very close friend, Eli Pierce, former president of the American Chemical Society, who, by the way, was born in a place not very far from that one that Menachem was born. But in the former, not in the former Poland, but in the former Ukraine, but not very far in fact. Now, after these meetings at the Brooklyn Poly, we have seen each other a number of times. But we became closer friends some 13 years ago, at the time that we organized in Warsaw the World Polymer Congress. And since that Congress, we were also meeting a number of times and understanding each other much better. But actually, for the last time, we have met in Jerusalem 4 years ago. Now, but being in fact impressed quite a lot by the Menachem activity, one day I asked Menachem, how is it possible that you are doing so many things at the same time? As a scientist, as somebody involved in the technology, as a statesman, and in all of those activities that Professor Don was presenting today to us. And he said, you know, this is very simple. Sometimes I do work, he said, not really knowing that I am working. So afterwards, I started thinking of the meaning of that statement. So that means that the brain is at such a condition, so let's say the brain is so active that can do things and that can solve problems without having somebody being verbally involved. And later on, when I was reading biographies of the great men, scientists and people from culture, sometimes I was finding that there are more people of the same feature, of the same fantastic quality. And finally I thought that maybe I will choose one of them, and this is the artist, also born in Poland, pianist. And since he was born in Poland, and in which the place that our center of the academy is located, I decided to give his name, and his name is the Arthur Rubinstein. Now, in the autobiography of Arthur Rubinstein, one is finding the following short statement. He says, when I'm supposed to be the reciter at the afternoon, then already when I am at the breakfast, I realize that half of that performance is already in my hand. So you can see in that way some similarities in fact. So I think that that particular feature of Menachem, combination of the spectacularly effective brain and at the same time hard work, allowed him to achieve that seminar work that we were listening about today. So what can I say at the end? Simply, thank you, Menachem. Thank you.